Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you have made it to lesson 4. And I'm going to call this the last hoorah, if you will, of this series in regards to, starting guitar. So we've talked about notes, kind of how to play with your left hand, rhythm. One of the last things that I don't think we've talked about just yet, though, is technique. Of course, really, there's technique with the right hand too. I touched on it when I talked about using a certain finger, but that's not what I'm talking about. Right now, I'm talking about your picking hand. You see, I know that most people, because I did it too when I started, your natural instinct when you play guitar is to want to do downstrokes for everything. But observe what happens when you go down every time. You got to come back up. So it's like there's some energy there that we're skipping. And so I want to talk about that now in this technique known as alternate picking. It's just down and up. It would be no different than, or I say no different, it's no different in the fact that we're using one string versus multiple when we're strumming chords. See, if I was just going down, observe my hand is doing the same thing. Did you notice how it sounded less empty the first half? That's what's known as a ghost strum when I'm not touching the strings. See, it looks like I should be playing right now. This is air guitar right now. Oh, there's the strings, air guitar. Oh, that's for another time, but demonstrating that that's the motion you would use, down and up. So that's what we're going to do now in a confined area, just on the high string. So let's use a metronome. I'm going to again use 100. We're going to play that scale. I'm going to, there's so many different ways you could do it, but let's play each note 4 times. Well, really what we're doing, let me point out what we're doing. We're essentially going to, the length of the note is going to be 1 bar or a whole note, 4 beats. But within those 4 beats, I want you to try to alternate going down and up the whole time. Let me demonstrate what I mean. So here, 1, observe, you don't just try the first note, open E, nothing, I'm not holding anything. 2, 3, 4. That would be 1 measure. I stroked 4 times. But notice I went down, up, down, up. I didn't go down, 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 down. Yeah, that might be easier, but don't do it. In the long run, if you want to achieve your goals, you're going to want this down and up motion. So try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can keep that going, really, until you get comfortable with that motion. I'm going to go on now and play the scale and demonstrate that in that same format, but something to consider. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And backwards. Arpeggio. Okay, let's pause the metronome there. But so yeah, that's something that I would say. I was thinking of it as I was doing it. What we're really doing is playing quarter notes. So if you practice those last excuse me, in the last video we had those different variations: whole notes, half notes, and quarter notes. If you successfully made it to quarter notes, it's probably going to be a bit easier Now, at the same time, we can slow that down. Sorry, I've been playing many years, and sometimes it's hard for me to slow it down. But, you could do the same thing. Let's say that it was half notes. That would mean I would let the click go 2 times before I change my stroke. It'll make sense in a second. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, like so. By the way, again, I feel like I mentioned in the first video. If I didn't, I'm saying it again, or saying it now, that you got to find what works for you. The information is the same every day, all day. It's like you got to find ways to mix it up. What works for you. I mean, we could have done 1 strum per note. The other idea too, as much as I said we're talking about right hand technique, I mean we are, but we also are talking about synchronizing our hands. You want your left hand and your right hand to work together. So demonstrate one other way we could have done that. Again, trying to play the scale with the same time, and you could maybe do 1 strum per note. So like the first note's going to be a down, the second note will be a up, so on and so forth. So here we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, like so. And if you were not paying attention to my right hand through that, I want you to do that. I've learned over the years in teaching, more often than not, people are looking at my left hand and what notes I'm playing, but I'm really talking about your right hand technique right now. So make sure you observe when I'm going down and up. So yeah, those are some different things you could do to work that technique. Obviously, the first one would be the most advanced out of the 3, where I was playing quarter notes and doing it 1, 1. I forgot the tempo now. Like so on and so forth. That first one that I did, that one is the more difficult one. And don't worry, it can and will get more difficult as you get that. But so the last thing I want to do is go back to the whole idea of the scale and the song that we were doing, Hit Me With Your Best Shot. You see, everything I mentioned before, the major scale is the foundation for all things music. That song is in the key of E major. And within that, you can essentially play the E major scale and do no wrong. Yes, there are notes that sound better than others, depending on what note's going on, but generally speaking, it is a accommodating scale to the song. So what I'm going to do now is kind of demonstrate what we were doing there in a roundabout way. Well, the reality, you could use whatever technique. I'm really mostly wanting you to think about left hand timing or note changing. But the same concept is there as far as using whole notes, half notes, or quarter notes. And when you get to the point of improvising and soloing on guitar, all the things we're talking about now will go out the window. But the foundation is there, and that's what we're doing now. So I'm gonna play this loop that I recorded already, pre-recorded, of the riff to the song. It's in a lower register. It's not in the high one. It's gonna be lower, like the real song. It's not quite as fast as the real song, but let's let it go here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna stop that there. But you get the point that, and basically the point I was trying to make before I just went right into playing was that you can cut on the real song and just take your time, maybe play whole notes to move through playing the scale with the song, just to get a feel for playing with something. I think this is also the beauty of the metronome. Is it's like having somebody to play with. Again, assume you were able to play with the best musician ever. I assure you they can, for the most part, play in time without a metronome. So, or that they could also play with a metronome. So it's like when everybody's on the same page, it just makes life easier. So if you can play with a metronome, you can play with anybody. And like I said, it's like having somebody to play with. And I do realize the monotony of doing the same thing over and over. So that's why I try to give variations of the same things in each of these videos. I feel like I was a little scrambled in this one, but like I said, there's a lot of moving parts. But like I said, I think that the topics of technique, rhythm and tempo and timing, and note usage, or knowledge for that matter, they are important. And I feel like it's important to memorize those different things, but it's really a lot like school. You don't necessarily retain everything that the teacher said, but rest assured it's going to be on the test at some point. But yeah, those different things are really key going forward. But I say more than anything, if you don't think about the notes a whole lot, just try to memorize the patterns, the shapes. But we'll get more into that next time. I presume that we will continue this saga one way or another, maybe in person, maybe here again. But either way, I hope this is helpful, and I hope you are learning. And until we meet again, rock on!